Happy Valentine's. Somebody loves you. Sorry, we had to be like too cheesy. We've been out antique selling all day, but it's happy hour. So make sure you grab something red to remember everyone deployed, and then grab something purple so that your C60 is working and all that. But anyway, let's find out what Westwood's doing. Wait, something wrong. What is wrong? We're having trouble streaming to your destination. Why did my destination end?
Are we not good?
It's okay. No, we're good. I can just take that one off. Oh, Rumble didn't let me post. Oh. Okay, not sure what's going on. Anyway, we'll see you back in just a sec with Westwood for Happy Valentine's Day. Happy hour. Happy Valentine's Day, Westwood.
Happy hour Valentine's Day. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day hour.
Valentine's Day. Somebody loves you.
Aw, somebody loves you.
All of our cheesiness.
I love it. I love it. You gotta laugh at it. Definitely.
Yes.
Oh.
And it's all the V-Steg for Valentine's Day. So big shout out to our buddy Skullcap Savant. If you aren't following him, follow V-Steg Community, Rumble, and all that. And I'm going to try to do a video with him on Sunday because we were not able to do one on Wednesday.
Okay. I didn't think so.
I'm hoping we can do one on Sunday and kind of catch up. You know, I hear it might be a big weekend.
Could be. Well, we got President's Day Monday. Some people are off on holiday. I'm sure the banks are closed. It's Monday.
That's a 3-day weekend.
There you go.
It's always a possibility on a 3-day weekend.
Oh man.
Silver pumped over.
Yeah, it's been moving. What did it close at today? I saw it was like 34.
I don't know. Maybe 35. That would be fun.
What? Come on, man.
You know I love all the numbers.
I know. Let me see real quick.
And Google searches are up for Cayman Island type accounts, lawyers,
and criminal defense lawyers.
Yeah,
that was
criminal defense lawyers.
Criminal defense lawyers and offshore.
Oh boy! I guess it went down. They whacked it down before the weekend. It looks like, unless I'm looking at something wrong here. Look at Kitco. Because I saw it was like $34 this morning. Oh yeah, they did. They whacked gold down. Oh yeah, of course. Perfect. Knocked it down by $45. Huh?
Didn't get up to 35. I shared
it might have. I'm looking for the dang chart.
Skipped or touched or clipped 33. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear it got up to 34.
It looks like, I don't know. I saw it at 34, but that, I don't know.
Somewhere around there.
Different places, anyway. It's just like a little over 32, it looks like, is what it closed at for the week. Because, of course, on weekends, we can't trade gold or silver. And we got to shut the whole market down, right?
We can peer-to-peer, for sure.
Exactly.
There also, Trump had the mint stop making pennies.
Yes.
For about a good week or more. He's had this giant penny behind him.
I see that. Yeah, big copper bronze penny thing.
Yeah, whatever that is. I thought that was interesting.
I don't know.
On that.
Let me retweet this because I keep forgetting.
Okay. Mom, what are your thoughts on Trump shutting down the penny at the mint?
To make it's more expensive to make it.
Stop.
The so-called value of the currency. I don't know. With our currency so devalued, a penny is just almost worth nothing.
What are you going to buy with it? Yeah, exactly. You can't. It's a relic at this point.
And if they're actually using precious metals to make it, then like Mom said, it's worth more than what its base value is.
Yeah, the penny itself right now, that's mostly zinc. It's like 90, I don't know, maybe 97.5% zinc. It used to be copper. The copper pennies before 82 and partially 82, they're worth like 2.75 cents. And you can still get them in circulation, but the new pennies with the zinc it's like 0.075. So it's like 3/4 of the face value of the penny, the zinc content in it. But I mean, I imagine at some point it'll be worth a penny. But the manufacturing costs, along with the metallic cost, you're losing.
Yeah. And, Doge being engaged, the Department of Government Efficiency, like it makes sense to pull the penny, at least for this time.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. But yeah. All the cheesy jokes today.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do that.
That's too funny.
The dog's acting up already, jumping up. She's going to start barking.
That's
just like clockwork.
That is okay. We had the clock going off earlier. Now this little pup is wiped out. She was away from her mom for a couple hours. So yes.
Withdrawal symptoms.
Exhausted.
Yeah. Needs some.
There you go. He's giving him the eye. The eye.
That's engagement. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna look at me? Fine. That's what I want." Hey.
Now who's training who? Yes.
Exactly. You're gonna get let out. That's what you're gonna get. Let's go. Come on. Go. Get out in the snow.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine. I forget how much colder it is there.
Yeah.
And we don't have well yet.
We had like an inch of snow here within the last hour, and it was like micro burst of snow. I mean, it was just really quick and dropped an inch of snow and just like all at once.
Oh.
And then now it's gone. It stopped. So the dogs love it, or at least the big one.
The big one, yeah. I was the little one. That makes it a little difficult for her. She's tiny.
I know. She'll stay out for a little bit, and then she's like, "No, I'm done." She's like prancing around. My feet are cold. I want to go in the house.
Yeah.
So she's on the couch, cozy and being good, and this one's nuts outside right now, trying to chase everything.
Time. Yes. Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Valentine's Day to all our friends in the chat. I'm trying to make sure I get caught up on the little posts so everybody can see your comments.
Yeah.
Say hi. So much good stuff happening. The Epstein list has been ordered to the DOJ to release. That was pretty exciting. I mean, I don't know that. I wonder if that's going to be a big snoozer, and it's really
probably. Everybody's like, we already know who's on it.
Everybody saw the manifest for the flights, so we pretty much know the big players.
Right. My name is Bill Gates, and I was just on it to try and make humanitarian deals. It's just like business.
Exactly.
And sniff children.
Mm.
Snuff? Did you say
Snuff? Ooh.
Whatever. Maybe. Yeah.
Probably something going on there too. Yeah.
Thing there.
Seeing something over here. There not be a mouse.
Oh God.
I just feel movement right there, and I'm like, anyway. Who knows?
Don't say that.
I've only had like 2 sips. I mean, it can't be that at this point. Maybe later, but not now.
It's not the spirits.
No, it's
just yet.
You've got the spirit. Come on, let's hear it.
That's right. So you did a Spaces last night. I jumped in for a little while and listened, and I chatted up some of our friends. So you're back to doing Spaces on Thursdays, or was that?
It was a one-time deal. I got a little carried away and went ahead and did Spaces, and got a little fired up at the end to hash it out, thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to go a little bit further here. Not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to hear Mr. Everybody would say, Mr. Pessimist Negative, taking the other side of, the arguments, come listen to me on Spaces and I'll, question everything.
Take the other side and at least consider it, because if we think about everything we've been told, especially education-wise, it's a lie. I mean, I just saw Janine tweet out a video that said that it was like a guy who does autopsies, coroner, and he said everyone that I've done that had cancer didn't die of cancer. They died because their organs were radiated, and they died of something.
So the treatment was the killer, huh?
The treatment was worse.
Kind of sounds like, the
disease.
Jeez.
And that's what, I'm not a doctor, but that's what this coroner said. That their organs had been radiated to the point that they couldn't function. There was nothing to do but keep them comfortable. It wasn't cancer that killed them. And
That's horrible.
It wasn't cancer that killed her. It was that the meds reduced her immune system to the point that her body couldn't fight back.
Well, I mean, isn't that what chemotherapy is, though? It just like it kills everything. And it's like, well, at least this is healthy enough to live, and then we'll get the cancer, but it might cause, other parts of you to kind of wear out too, and get radiated. I don't know. I'd try something else if I could. Again, it's easy for me to say, I'm not in that situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would definitely try everything I could, all the alternative stuff, as much as I possibly could to, I see how these people with radiation, whew, that's rough.
Yeah. My sister went through.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Plus like physical surgeries to remove brain tumors.
Jeez.
Torture.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to, see.
Denise Baker, Main Squeeze is in the house.
Oh, main squeezes. I'm gonna bring this dog in.
We have
one of the main squeezes.
One of our main squeeze girls in a little while in the chat. Glad to see you in the chat.
Oh my gosh, this dog is covered with snow. It's snowing again.
It was a black furry dog. Now it's summer.
She's speckled.
Yeah.
I'd lift her up, but she won't let me.
Yeah.
What a nut. Anyway, here we are hanging out, doing dad duties with the dogs. Stinkers. Okay, I'm gonna get focused here. Here, take this.
Okay, you're okay. I can jump on my Twitter-ish. I just didn't want to overwhelm with like the news roll. Right?
There's so much. How do you keep up?
Yeah, I can't.
We need AI to fix all this for us. Here I go.
I did think it was interesting that there's this big meeting. I guess the biggest thing in this moment is the Zelensky VP.
Hi, Nana. I don't think I said hi. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, hi, Clint.
Like,
They're like family. I'm there.
I know. It's like, what do you want to do for Valentine's Day, honey? It's like,
Whatever, same old.
Yeah. Or some Chinese, I don't know.
It's fine. So where was it that Heidi posted that I guess oh God, what's his name? Rubio was on his way to fly and meet with Zelensky and then turned around and now they have Vance meeting with him. Do you know the significance of that or why?
What meeting? What kind of?
A meeting with Zelensky.
Yeah. And then what'd you say? A vamp meeting?
Rubio's plane turned around. He was on his way to go there and turned back.
And instead Vance.
Oh, Vance. That's what I couldn't. I thought you said vamp meeting.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Vampire?
That guy we haven't heard about very much, even though
I know.
he's president.
Right.
We heard about Elon and all the cabinet, but yeah.
Well, about the time the plane turned, they said that Zelensky was not going to sign whatever agreement that they thought he was going to sign. And there was some kind of missile that blew up some protection in Chernobyl.
Yeah, I saw that.
Blaming it on the Russians. And someone said that, no, that was by Ukraine. That was a false flag by Ukraine. So, which makes sense because it's happening at the same time. Zelensky decides not to sign this agreement of what he's
Well, and I did see a video of Zelensky being pissed off that Trump called Putin first before the meetings with Zelensky. And so did he temper tantrum and throw the false flag
probably
to try to get the U.S. to defend Ukraine?
I'm sure that would be his motive, is to get war perpetuated with our help,
Yeah, well, he needs the checks to keep coming to pay all of his people's pensions and give $5 million mansions to his generals in America.
It's ridiculous, all the money and the waste. And, that's the thing is, you're just talking, I say just, but you're 10 million, 100 million here, that's nothing compared to how much money goes out of this government. What I just looked today was like our, like over 6.5 trillion or something is what we spend every year on the books.
Can you imagine if that money, instead of feeding dictators around the world and funding nefarious operations. If it had been spent in our country for our people, our infrastructure, our education systems.
Oh, absolutely. Our technology, our advancement instead of, destruction, and basically that's all it is. Let's bomb them to the Stone Age and rebuild it, and contractors make money off of it. And it's just no advancement. It's like we're stuck the last 100 years, stuck in this perpetual like war whirlpool that we just keep spinning around in and you don't break free.
Yeah. Groundhog Day of war.
Yes, definitely. It's ridiculous. All the money. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot as far as with the Doge stuff, being, I don't know how my mic's doing here. Tell me if it's.
It is good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's good that they're calling all that stuff out, but man, we got to get some stuff eliminated. Now I looked, we spent like $305 billion on education from the federal government and the national government. And I'm thinking, what is this for? What is the national government paying? I mean, property taxes, pay for the schools around here. I mean, what are they getting? Where's this money going? What is it, just a bureaucratic layer of, just nonsense that they're doing? I mean,
like
$305 billion?
Biggest,
And we get dumber every year?
Yeah.
I mean,
CPS, I think it's CPS. It's the budget part that has to do with children is one of the largest budgets of every state. And there is so much confidentiality, which I understand the need for it. I fostered and adopted. I know there's like when families are going through difficult times and they're trying to be reunited, all of that stuff. And you want to protect the children's privacy and not endanger anyone. And there's, we're all innocent until proven guilty in this country, all of those things. But also because of that, there is a huge amount of money that can be moved around, or there are people that are maybe more motivated to make choices for a child who doesn't have a good advocate around them because it might financially gain the system or themselves in another way.
Oh, and sure.
So anywhere there's children, there should be the most transparency. And I know
absolutely, because they can't speak for themselves. I mean, they really don't have a voice. You know that. I mean, it's the people, the protectors that that who knows?
It's so scary. And so I'm really glad they're looking into it. I'm almost, horrified to think about. And, we've all heard some of it that, judges are getting kickbacks, the kids for cash thing that went on, where judges were getting kickbacks for sending children with like minimal issues that came through the courts to private prisons because it's free workforce and the judge back.
And you privatize the prisons, and so you get a big little corporate money grab again. And there's incentive, it's incentivized to, put people in there, and find the crime,
Yeah. And
hey, you're a black guy, you're driving down the street, you're smoking marijuana, you're going to jail for 10 years. It's like, what? And then meanwhile, you got Fauci running around.
Right. Yeah. Sick.
Really? I mean,
so a lot of this were in like the disclosure, what was it always? It was C before D. And so now we're, I think, in the disclosure part of the plan or the whatever. I don't know what you want to call it because it triggers everything gets so exposure.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, there's definitely things being exposed. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I mean, it needs to. I mean, all this needs to come out, and then we got to figure out. I guess my worry is, what do we do then? I mean, how do we? What comes next? What are we implementing at that point?
Well, so think about. I don't know. Well, you have. There's a house that you own right now. Remodel a house.
Mm-hmm.
When you remodel a house, you have to destroy it first. You have to pull out.
You got to open it up, see all the crap in it.
Yeah. Open it up, and you have to pull
dead rats out.
Yeah, the rats out. That's right.
Living rats, get them out.
Pull out the moldy, rotten beams. Replace the structure first.
Right. You get it.
But we have to gut it first. And I think that's where we are.
Yep.
In the gutting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I mean, I know it'll work out. I mean, because the free market, and people will figure it out. It's just there's going to be, with markets, some people are seeing it. I don't know. Cliff's probably seen it in his data. Other people are looking at it that we're going to have a hiccup somewhere along the road. We have to, just because. I mean, you can't. These people are making good money. They're making a lot of money. People in the federal government. You know what I mean? If you start putting them out of work, they've got obligations that they contribute to the economy, house payments and all this, and Starbucks, and the cars that they buy and all that stuff. Well, that's going to stop because they're not probably going to find that kind of job anywhere else in the private sector at this point. And so you've got this dislocation of the high paid workforce, and what ripple effect does that have? I mean, it got to the point it built. I mean, houses and cars and all this free property, farmland around here. It's like everything's overinflated. Just because, you've been able to bubble it up with the money. So if you're pulling the rug out and you're resetting the money, which I'm all for, I'll hit that red button as long as we have a sound money standard, going forward. And I mean, but all of that's going to have to get fixed somehow and come back to a true value level. You know what I mean? And that dislocation is going to be painful at first, I think, but it'll fix itself. It'll heal because, we did it without all this stuff before. We can do it again. It's just that nobody alive today realizes, what it was like then, as opposed to you see all the TikTok videos or whatever now, and they're cutting my $4,000 a month, and they're cutting this and that. And meanwhile, you're monetizing on the platform, and it's like, well, you didn't tell them you were making money, though, and now they're taking it away from you.
And
all the ride's over.
All the South Africans that are so upset that we're not paying their pensions anymore, their Social Security anymore. I was like, what?
There's so much grit.
Social Security for people in South Africa.
It's so ridiculous. I mean, it really is. So, they've just, I heard somebody explain it. The Treasury, it's just easier. It got to the point where it's just easier to where they just authorize all the payments. Just because it's easier to authorize all the payments and get no pushback than, actually go through it and say, well, you're not getting this payment, and have oversight. Because then you're going to have complaints and everybody's going to be unhappy, and they don't want to deal with it. And so it's like, just print more money. F it. We need more money. Just keep paying it all. Wow. Okay. Unreal.
Changing the plans, though. I think that's part of it is like, it's the PlayStation outage. Okay. I don't know.
Like the Super Bowl PlayStation.
There you go.
Removing the money is going to take care of a lot of problems immediately. Yes. But it will, it will leave this big hole, like you say.
Yeah.
But that's also opportunity for,
Sure it is. Yeah, people are willing to work and innovative. I mean, it's a prime opportunity to fix problems, and maximize efficiencies and, fill, like you said, fill the holes that need to be filled. But because right now you're not incentivized to be innovative, I don't think, in a lot of ways. It's just, if you're just getting a check and you're, for no reason, and you just get to create some organization that, funnels money around, you're really doing nothing. I mean, you're not offering any good to society. So
that was the great taking. I think, so many people were forwarding that video around, especially in like the MAGA, Anon, whatever movement. The great taking is going to happen. The great taking, sorry, not tanking. Maybe it is the great tanking.
Great tanking. Yeah, might be more. Yeah.
Yeah. But the idea that the things we've been so afraid of for so many years did happen. Our middle class was stolen by mostly the Clintons and the Bushes selling it off to China.
Oh, yeah.
That already happened.
Yeah.
We already lived through that. So these kind of things where now you're seeing, Trump say, hey, wait, looks like Politico, Reuters, $900 billion or $9 billion. Is that 9 million? 9 million.
Whatever. It was $1 too much, buying subscriptions to all this stuff. And it's like, really,
they're saying, give it back to the people.
Call it back.
Already been callbacks. Somebody ordered a callback through FEMA. And I can't remember if it was Anna Paulina or if it was
Noam.
Bondi. Was it Noam?
It might have been Noam. It might have been her. I'm thinking it was. I could be wrong.
It was Christy Noam. But ordered a callback for FEMA. And Westwood, you said something about that when we were talking privately the other day. You're like, be careful. There might be clawbacks.
Right. And there it is.
And it makes sense, and I don't know what the structure of that is or how long clawbacks can go back or whatever. But
I don't know.
I heard somebody else talking and they were like, but how would they ever get that back to the people? Well, we do have a system where people have been exploited and voluntarily paying in. So that's a phone line that can just reverse and go. The other person can start talking.
Hey, they sent out $1,200 checks. They can send back some money. I mean,
was that a test run? I mean, I didn't get a $1,200 check, so
right. But they,
maybe the road to Ruta thing.
Yeah. Well, and that is another form of NESARA.
Hey.
It's the way Bix explains it. There's no deciders, but that kind of is the way. It's like there's no deciders. It's just that the wrong has been righted, and we know the pathway to right the wrong.
Right? Yeah.
We know who paid in and shouldned have.
Right, and I think that's what Bix's theory is. It's like you base it on kind of the Social Security. That's like the fairest way out of the box. You've worked this many years. You're this old. I mean, you've contributed this much energy into the system. Therefore, you're going to get the most back. And so. Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do it. I mean, the money's just got to get fixed. I mean, we have to have some kind of sound money standard, or else that self-regulates. I mean, that again, you go back in history, and the whole reason we didn't, get involved in wars would end because you'd run out of money. I mean, it's like, okay, we can't fund the mercenaries anymore. We can't use them. The Hessians go home. And it's just like the people either fight or they don't, and they're like, "F this, I'm done."
But that's because wars used to be funded by war bonds. And the government would have to come to the people and say,
exactly,
go to war. Here, do you
you want to build a canal? You want to start a war? Buy the bonds. Otherwise, it ain't getting done.
Right. But now they do it with this dark money and these crazy funds and through these NGOs that we, the people, don't get a voice, which to me is unconstitutional.
No, it absolutely is. And then plus they're creating this nonsense of, I mean, this is how far it gets out of hand. When you have unlimited money, it just gets out of hand. And they just find things to create more trauma and more drama and more sinkholes for money. It's no different than you got U.S. aid funding Hamas, and then we're sending weapons to Israel to fight Hamas. It's like, this is effed up. We're funding both sides of this conflict, and everybody, I mean, then you got a freaking junkyard. I mean, it's insane. But it's like, well, we didn't know the money's so out of control, and there's so many little interests, that are funding all these things, and it's just we're fighting ourselves. Yeah,
at the expense of we the people.
Right, absolutely, and then killing people in the process. And I mean, and their kids are going to be mad at whoever else and fight the next generation of wars because you killed my parents, and it's just nuts. It's generational insanity. So. If you don't have the money, though, it's just like, hey, we want to fight some wars in Europe. Well, I guess we got to go to this new across the Atlantic and steal some gold because, we got to fund it. And so it's a lot harder, when you got to use sound money. And it's like you said, if you got to convince somebody to buy the bonds and if nobody buys them, well, I guess you're not going to war. I guess you're not building the bridge. I guess you're not doing this. And, there's accountability, though. And, and until we have accountability, and part of that is, some people need to go to jail. They need to be tried and convicted. So that needs to happen.
Without enforcement, I mean, I can make as many rules as I want, but until I enforce it, my kids will run wild all over me.
Exactly. Yeah, like the dogs. Yeah. If I don't enforce the rules on the dogs and smack them around a little bit, they're going to keep coming back and barking and, want treats and. Yeah, and this is what happens right here. This is the end result. No accountability.
Well, but people do what works for them, and you choose that because you choose to raise your dog.
I choose to be, laissez-faire dog dad. Yeah.
Yes. No dad shaming today. It's
Valentine's. Right.
Yeah. Dogs, they just get excited. That's normal,
Yeah.
I think we're all used to it at this point.
I know it's a
My dogs don't even bark anymore when your dogs bark.
yeah, they're just like,
Those are my friends.
yeah,
My dog's
expect it.
magical internet friend.
Yeah, magical dog crypto friend.
Yeah.
And that's when we know we've come full circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Has magical
you know,
internet.
When you can sleep through happy hour.
Yeah.
right. Pass out during happy hour. That's not good.
I was gonna say we've seen that at that Spaces before.
Oh Lord, you never know. Snoring Spaces sometimes. You never know. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking for accountability, and I want to see that at the end of all this. So let's expose it, absolutely. But we gotta hold some of these people accountable. They can't just get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it can't be enough that we just know about it. Like there has to be enforcement. There has to be.
Otherwise, if there's no teeth in it, then somebody's going to do it again. It's like, well, oh well, I'll just get pardoned. My dad will pardon me. It's fine. It's like, okay, here we go. I mean, this is ridiculous. But there's a loophole there anyway. But I mean, let's start trying some of these people. Let's get the evidence and come on, Bondi, let's get them.
Oh,
I think it's going to happen fast.
Yeah.
They've been really strong.
Good.
Her speech the other day, she had that same righteous anger in her throat that Sidney Powell had that day when Giuliani came out and was sweating his hair dye. And she said, if I didn't know better, if I didn't have something about, like, she was holding herself back, and she's like, I just might release the Kraken. And then we went into
like, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
But she had that righteous anger in her voice. And that's how Pam Bondi was speaking the same way when she was standing with that mother, that angel mom that, had her child so violently raped and murdered. When they knew he was dangerous, but they needed one more vote. That's the sick thing. If you look at what they were doing, it's not just, they were letting people in because they're so worried about that person. They didn't give two shits about that person's future or whatever, but it was one more butt in a seat in a county to help them steal an election.
Well, it's just like having, the last president that we had. I mean, we all knew he was mentally incapacitated, and somebody else is, but hey, we got to have him up there, so he can not sign things we put in front of him. He didn't realize he signed it. And who said that? What was it? Who was it? It was Speaker Johnson. Mike Johnson said, I talked to him. He said, "Well, you signed this." Well, I don't remember signing it. About some document or decree. That's like, really? Wow. Okay, so it's just a ghost president. Somebody said, "Here, sign it." While you're in the nursing home, it's like, "Oh, here, sign here." The will and whatever. I mean, come on.
Somebody talked about in an office as an exposure thing. It was like a secretarial signature.
Yeah, it's like a rubber stamp almost, isn't it?
It was one of my it's Pete, Craigslist hunter video. I think he's a good guy, sending comms, but I think everyone is mostly. But he has a frog or something weird or 17 something on his videos. And right when that happened, right around that time when all the pardons were happening, he did an episode, and it was exposed that this baseball that was brought in had some good signatures on it, but it had Mickey Mantle's or somebody big, and that was what's called a secretarial signature. And that means that it was not done by that original person, but a person on behalf of that person.
Right, but approved.
But had authority.
So it's in the spirit of, the signature, because the person approved it. It's like these NFL players or these pro athletes. I'm sure, when all these jerseys that are signed by, whatever, Saquon Barkley, I'm sure at some point he's like, okay, you're my authorized secretarial signature or signatory. And, it's not the actual signature, but it's an authorized signature from him,
Right. So that's what, or maybe it's like power of attorney kind of given to that person to be able to sign for, as, or by that person or that entity.
Power of autography. I don't know.
There you go. He's a POA. Tracy T, thanks for your comment. I totally agree, and we've talked about that before. Federal pardons don't stop state prosecutions.
Right. That's true. That's a good point.
We've had, so just like,
It's a great
like
point.
Jesus came to flip the tables or
Yeah.
turn things upside down. The entities, the government are supposed to be our servants, not our leaders. And
Correct.
we also have to understand that the feds don't have more power than the state or us as individuals. I sent a message to Heidi. She has a friend that's he went to the Capitol on January 6th, and he was charged with horrible things. He's about to go to prison like today or tomorrow, sometime this weekend.
Jeez.
And he had received his pardon, and he's there meeting with, and she goes, no, he's there meeting with marshals. And I said, Heidi, get him out of there. They are feds. And so I looked it up, and feds or marshals are federal. And that's why because she's like, and I'm like, no, the sheriff, your local
Right.
sheriff is who is bound to the Constitution and to protect individuals' rights. And that's who, so she was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I know exactly who to call. So I hope they had a good outcome. I hope that was helpful, but that's where like our education system is not, it's dumbing our children down. We aren't
Nobody knows.
Institution. And, anyway,
Yeah, it's unreal. It's just exactly. You got you got to realize where the authority and the jurisdiction comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used the analogy before. It's like Dukes of Hazzard. As soon as the Dukes run over out of Hazard County into Chickasaw County, Roscoe P. Coltrane's got no jurisdiction over there. So you see him running over to Chickasaw County. Anyway.
No, you're absolutely right.
Well, I mean there's lines that get crossed, and it's like, no, I'm elected by everybody in the county, like the president, everybody elects. And it's even closer. It's more direct of an election, a sheriff than a president even, because you got the electoral college in between the people, at a presidential level. But in the county, it's like, it's a direct office, elected by every person in that county. It's a very powerful position that we just,
Yeah. I was thinking of something, and then I tried
Fed comes to your house, call the sheriff and say, hey, somebody's impersonating a Fed. Get out of here. These people, let them sort it out.
I've asked them to leave, and I need you to come protect
Yes, they're trespassing, and they say they're Feds. Liars.
Which reminds me of another thing that passed today about liberty. We were saying, well, yeah. They passed, the Supreme Court passed confirmed. They didn't pass anything. They just confirmed or affirmed our right to liberty, that you don't need a driver's license. There you go. He knew exactly where it was going.
Don't. There's another one that just happened in Illinois. Continue with that, and then I'll go into that.
Well, so the liberty thing, I need to back up because I'm just remembering the other thing. So also the stolen election thing. Oh gosh, what we're just talking about. I got totally. See, we get on one thing and then another. No, yeah, I know. I should take notes.
Yeah, write it down.
But before that, the presidential thing.
But
and the stolen election. I'll have to come back to it. But anyway, moving on to more constitutional. It's like one thing unwrapping the next one.
Yeah.
Constitutional education.
About the bringing the illegals over just for the vote. We talk about the
Yeah.
Angel about Pan being very strong in what she was saying.
After that.
Here it was there.
Yeah.
Somewhere between those two.
It was something Westwood was talking about, then I tried not to
Okay.
interrupt him. And then I forgot. He's like, write it down.
I did that last night on Spaces. Like immediately after I said something, like I forgot what my point was. It just like right then it was in my head and it's gone.
Well, I think it's that flood of information right
It
now.
is. It's like I can't.
Yeah, where are you going to go with the liberty thing, Westwood?
No, it was Illinois. One of the counties in Illinois. It was I think White County, maybe. I can't remember. It's in the southeastern portion of Illinois, down south. I mean, that's like Kentucky's your neighbor. So it's like southern sympathies, definitely, in southern Illinois. And so it's a lot different than Chicago. If you think Chicago's Illinois, it's totally different down there. And so they had Illinois, you're required, you're talking about licenses, required to have what's called a FOID card, FOID. and it's like firearm owner identification, something like that, whatever it is. And so you're not supposed to have any guns in your house anywhere in your possession if you don't have one of these cards, which is a total violation of the Second Amendment. But and so what happened was somebody had called on this lady and said she's, the husband, I guess, domestic stuff. Husband calls the police and says, hey, my wife fired off a gun in the house. And so, like a 22 rifle, I think it was, like the pink gun. So they come, they show up, they confiscate her gun because she doesn't have a FOID card, out of her house.
Remember Illinois.
Okay.
Illinois, yeah, this is how screwed up it is.
Register, and if you don't have the little card that
you
shows
gotta have the card.
Guns, then they take everything.
Oh yeah, it's like $10 or something. It's like a background check, and it's good for 10 years. You fill out your paperwork, send it to the state police. They run background checks, and maybe 6 months later they send you the card. There's like a backlog. Anyway, you get the freaking card, and it's good for 10 years, and you can go buy. Usually, they didn't used to ask you, when you go to buy ammunition at like certain places, but now they're asking. I mean, you got your FOID card, and it's like you really shouldn't need that to buy ammunition. Oh, that's how tyrannical it gets. So anyway, they confiscate her gun. So she goes to court. She files a lawsuit, and then the judge actually ruled. He had a really good ruling, and he was very specific about it though, and said that it is unconstitutional. It is against the law that she is required to have a FOID card to have guns in her own home. Didn't go so far to say that, because that wasn't the scope of the case, go to say that you don't need one for anything, but it's like in your home, which because he used the example of, okay, so if somebody had come in and she shot him, it's in self-defense, she gets to go to jail for up to 364 days because she didn't have a card. And so he threw, so in that county that's what he decided. Now we'll see how far that gets run up the chain here in the Supreme Court. But I mean, there's laws on the books, there's cases on the books that, it's totally unconstitutional. But, if the sheriff enforces it, if the sheriff comes in your house, they're supposed to, take an oath to the Constitution. If he goes in there and takes the gun, I mean, that's ridiculous. And so, you got to fight that and get that overturned and set precedent. You shouldn't have to, because the Second Amendment's the Second Amendment. I mean,
full stop. Yeah. Speaking of, I wanted to find this Kennedy. I just love John Kennedy. He cracks me up.
Well, he's a riot.
I can imagine him as an attorney. Like, he's just a great orator.
He says some funny things.
Yeah.
He's colorful.
Folks, I believe that love is the answer, but you ought to own a handgun just in case.
Happy Valentine's Day, Louisiana.
Oh, that's good.
I love it. It's so good. Oh, we lost Westwood. He went to make a drink or take dogs out. I was playing a video. So.
Well, yeah, that's funny. That's pretty funny.
Cute.
I saw one meme where it's like there's a black man standing on his property and there's a bunch of Klansmen. It's like a cartoon. Actually, I think it was a black congressman that was running. Used it in an ad. Yeah, he said, how much ammunition's enough? You know what I mean? How many bullets do you need? And then it shows, him standing on his property with a gun and a bunch of Klansmen, coming onto the property. And it's like, put it in perspective. Well, you only need, 5, a magazine clip shouldn't hold more than 5, more than 10. And it's like, but there are circumstances to where you might need 30. You might need more.
What did Biden threaten us all with? We don't have
exactly
something.
We fight the tanks and the airplanes.
Yeah, that's what he fought. He threatened us with. Well, guess we need, at least one of those. I do think that's funny. What did you think about the whole? And I need to find that other video where the guy is giggling so hard when Trump is signing the
Howard Lutnick
about getting rid of the paper straws.
Yeah.
And the guy standing there is giggling. I mean, he cannot contain himself.
Wait, yeah.
Do you have a paper straw? There you go. The shark came.
Got a shark swimming around munching around in the ocean. Straws.
The paper straws. A lot of people.
That's pretty funny.
that may have been an EO, a word salad EO in the old corrupt maritime law to free everyone from the paper.
I hope it is a reference to the straw man.
Yeah.
I hope that's where we're going, and I hope that gets exposed. I mean, we need to roll this stuff back. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this whole capital letter corporation crap, birth certificate nonsense, and, you know, signing all these contracts and you don't need to do, and unknowingly do it. I mean, we didn't know. But they're all deceptive, freaking inverted vampires, Satan lovers.
Then, because I've always said, like, listen, the thing that I've struggled with the most with the common law movement or state national thing or whatever is you keep telling me how much power I have and they don't have power over me. But then you tell me I can't be free until I ask their permission. And I just can't, that does not resonate with me. I think it's bullshit. And so if I was put into this system or signed on or whatever without my knowledge, then couldn't there be a way? And I was like, there's no way this works unless everyone can be free of it in the same way that they were opted into it. They have to be able to, like, that just has to be annulled, that you opted into it without your knowledge.
Right. And I honestly, I mean, that's the argument that some of the people that take a simple approach to it is, it's just, it was a contract that you unknowingly entered into involuntarily, and you know that's fraud on their part, because you know that, and it's fraudulent, and so therefore it's null and void already. It's just that we don't exert it, and then not enough people defend it. You know what I mean? Again, you know, until a sheriff, you know, says, "Oh, absolutely, you don't need a driver's license," you know, and you know, you don't need to register your plates. I mean, and you don't. You've got the right to free travel. I mean, you know, is it an automobile or is it a carrier? Is it a, you know?
That's that education thing. I'm going to see if I can find the Supreme Court post because I'm struggle bussing myself.
But, you know, we've got in the education, you know, we've got, you know, the driver's, what do you call it? Driver's education, you know, in the schools. And so, you know, you're kind of indoctrinated. Oh, this is what you need to do when you turn 16. Go get your license and do this and that. So they kind of train you into thinking, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. And, you know, that's what my parents did. That's what I do. And so, you know, throughout. And so you do it not knowing that you're like asking for permission to use your private automobile on roads that you paid for. I mean, it's not right. Should be able to drive down the road and do whatever you want, and until you violate somebody's, you know, space, their rights, private property. You know, you break something, you know.
That's what.
We're 75 miles an hour on a 25-mile-an-hour road.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, we were saying like, well, don't you want people to be vetted, or wouldn't that be scary if anybody could just drive? But you're still accountable for your
right. So if you hit somebody, you're gonna go to prison.
Right.
I mean, because you've hurt somebody, and that's what it is. You know, it's not a crime if nobody's been injured, right? I mean, honestly, you know, if there's no injury, you know, that's the argument. You know, that's not a crime. It's a violation of a statute, a violation of a regulation, a violation of this, but there's no crime. It's a victimless crime, you know? There's no damage.
Trying to give you comfortable. Not herself. Yeah, so here is I found one of the articles. There's a bunch of them, but it says Iowa Supreme Court ruled the Board of Supervisors attempts to keep the application process of DL, of driver's license, lacks merit and warranted public scrutiny. So this was an Iowa Supreme Court decision. So it was a state Supreme Court decision.
Mm-hmm.
Not federal. So I don't know if every state then has to decide for themselves, or if there's things where like states can look at a decision that other states made. You know, when we watched during the Great Steal and all that, like Colorado claimed that, well, just because some other state decided that, you know, Trump shouldn't be on the ballot, that was why it validated that they didn't have him on the ballot instead of following their own rules. So I don't know. It's
and that's the problem you have with guns too. I mean, you know, you think about it, it's you know, it's a gray area, because here you come into Illinois and, you know, you obviously don't have a FOID card. However, you are operating under your state jurisdiction. You as a person, you're just traveling through a border, but you're inside this jurisdiction now. But are you really, as a person under that jurisdiction? You're just traveling. However, if somebody pulls you over, oh, what are you doing with that gun? And it's kind of that gray area to where if they want to be jerks, they can, get rough with you and throw the book at you, so to speak. But you got to think, I look at the Illinois website and it's, if you drive a vehicle, you have to have it licensed in some state, if it's not Illinois, some other state, wherever you reside. And you think, okay, so if I reside in Iowa, I'm not required to have it, or required to have a driver's license there, or required to register, the car. And then I travel to Illinois. So why did I fall under those rules? Because, you know what I mean?
Yeah. When I first heard about this Supreme Court thing, my initial reaction was, oh, how are we going to stay safe if all these people are allowed to? And then I realized, it doesn't matter. The
illegal driver's licenses and everything, freaking how to read signs.
People that cause the problems are the drunk drivers. They do it again anyway. They're not.
Yeah, that's not stopping them. They're going to do it.
Illegals that don't have licenses, they're going to drive anyway. So until they either cause an accident or they're caught, they're going to drive. So it's
not going to make me more irresponsible because they don't have a license.
It's still going to be the same thing. There just has to be accountability.
Right. And that's the way I look at it. It's like, hold people accountable when they cause damage to somebody else's property or person. But I'm not going to drive any differently, whether or not I got plates or a driver's license or anything. I'm going to drive the same way I always drive. And if I'm an idiot, I'm swerving all over the road and dangerous, and I'm going to do it anyway, with or without a license. You're either going to get caught or you're going to,
Hey, did you know it's illegal to rob a bank?
No.
Do you know people do it anyway who are criminals?
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, if it weren't illegal, I'd be robbing that bank. Let me tell you, I can't wait to snort some coke if it's not, you know what I mean? It's just like, you're going to do it if you're going to do it. I don't care what the law says.
Criminal's going to be a criminal.
Right.
Yeah. This conversation did.
All the criminals drop their guns, because it's illegal now. Oh, crap.
Yes.
Drop their guns.
There's a rule. I love to follow rules.
Yeah. Right.
This conversation did remind me because you brought up jurisdiction, and that's what I was triggered on with the presidential election and all that. That's why, because we do have to honor jurisdiction, or you're supposed to, in the courts, and that's why Trump went through all those. You
don't have standing.
They never had standing.
Right.
They didn't have jurisdiction. Part of us going through probate for Charlie's mom is that you have to prove your standing. And then, yes, the court will hear you and whatever. And then there are other laws or statutes where people can come in there and they can claim whatever they want.
Oh, yeah.
They won't have standing unless
they are thrown out.
Logical error or adopted an error, a legal error of the person. And so jurisdiction is very important for us to learn. And as you're talking about, like going from state to state and how jurisdiction, and some of that is our sovereignty, like who has jurisdiction over us. And until we harm someone else, then I do believe there should be accountability. And that goes back to that common law of equity.
Yeah.
And making someone whole. If you make a mistake or you harm someone, you
have to make that right.
In an Article 3 court, you should make that right, or have
right.
to.
A common law court, that's when it should be, enforced. But all these other maritime courts that we're in, they're just enforcing maritime rules.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, all the things that, you get dragged in for, parking fine, or this or that. And it's just.
Oh, Josh is so sweet.
Speeding ticket.
Washy Lake says, happy almost birthday, Nana. So Nana's birthday is on the 22nd. I'm like, oh, wait, I better set right. Which is interesting. She's a 222. She's a 222, which is the angel number.
222.
Say that about Nana already. So
wow.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
A lot of those 222 angel numbers that we had seen around, some different things.
And then tomorrow is Jim Montgomery's birthday. Happy birthday.
Hey, Jim.
And then Saturday, let's see, that's tomorrow, Saturday. Sunday is Miss Teen Crypto's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter's birthday's on Monday. I think Carla Estrada's birthday's on Monday.
Birthday is the same day as yours.
Oh, that's why you
Your
remember.
birthday twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I knew that.
And then my Charlie's birthday is on the 26th.
6th, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Lots of good things happening.
Oh, February people. Like Daddy O says, some people were getting busy in May.
Well, it was springtime. I got
There's a lot of action going on in May.
Yeah. You know what happens in the springtime? Spring fever.
Well, we can bring out the U thing, the bunny. No.
Spring fever. Yes.
Yeah, bunny rabbits
for everyone.
Yeah.
All the rabbits. It's funny.
Rabbits.
Yep. George Washington's birthday is the 20th. So President's Day is this Monday. We should
Monday.
I think you brought it up earlier.
Lincoln's birthday is coming up too, I think, in February. Reagan's birthday was in February.
Yes.
February 6th, I think.
Reagan's already passed.
Yep.
Yes, 6th. And then I don't know when Abraham Lincoln's is. It's somewhere very close to George
Not
Washington's.
I think that's why they consolidated it into President's Day.
Maybe, or
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure. There's some,
He was the 19th president, though, wasn't he? Or no, he was the 18th, and then we're
16th.
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 Oh, I'm very confused. I don't know. We're saying all the numbers,
All the wrong numbers.
but somebody knows in the chat.
He was president.
He was president, but
He practiced law down the road.
yeah. So that was my understanding that's why they consolidated Lincoln and Washington's birthday to do President's Day, the third Monday.
Yeah.
Of the
So we get a 3-day weekend and get a bank holiday.
Yeah.
A school day off.
Yes. So, but that's also like, the Fed has hinted around about 3-day weekends. And the 17th is
Monday.
Tuesday or
Monday.
Monday. President's Day is the 17th.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another thing.
Lisa's like, click, 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 click.
Okay. Charlie said that something was they pushed Kash Patel's hearing confirmation to Monday, but that's a federal holiday.
Yeah, how can they do that?
Confirm him on Monday.
That doesn't make sense. Is it the next Monday after that?
No, they said,
Well,
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Maybe he misunderstood. I thought he said on Monday, and I was like, that's a federal holiday. They shouldn't be.
17th.
Yeah.
Well, the White House works every day, so maybe they don't take them.
Yeah, right. You're getting no days off. Nobody's getting a day off. You have 4 years of this. No days off.
That's why you don't see a lot on Monday, and then it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh,
Ramps up, crescendo.
go home for Thursday night. Something. Yes. For sure.
Mm-hmm. 17th.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And then I saw people posting this could be a word you can't say on Twitter, or not Twitter, YouTube, about people choosing to leave weekend.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
The S word that
About a cider weekend.
Sayonara, adios weekend.
Sayonara weekend.
Sayonara weekend.
Adios a weekend, yeah.
Muchacho.
Auf Wiedersehen weekend.
Yeah. And another big ice storm is coming in, which just cracks me up every time I hear about ice storms.
Ice storm. It's an ice storm.
You see where
everybody runs out of the fields.
yes, basically.
All the restaurants close.
ICE has called businesses in Chicago and told them or contacted them to let them know that they will be charged $20,000 per undocumented or un-American worker. And they've already charged one company over $300,000. So they're forcing it.
Hit them in the pocketbook. And that's the thing. They're breaking the law. Breaking the law. There's the copyright. There it is.
There you go.
So there it is. But I saw one person, I don't know how accurate this stuff is, but one farmer, he's like, look at these fields. None of the pumpkins or watermelons are going to get picked because, I don't have workers. They're not showing up. They're scared of ICE. And it's like, why are you hiring the illegals anyway? Well, I can't find Americans to do it. I guess it's just going to have to figure itself out, isn't it? Because
the free market would heal that, because
sure, it's going to have to.
Peter Santinello's, and they were justifying having the H1, I want to call it H1N1,
visas, H1,
right? H2, whatever workers come in. But then they come in, they get paid a lower amount. The farmer justifies it because they help them get their permit and they let them live there, and all these justifications of paying them less. And I'm on the farmer side, don't get me wrong, but it's just, it's being done wrong. And he's like, but I have to, because I can't charge more than £5 for crawfish or whatever.
Okay, well, here's how you fix certain things, though. Well, you start growing organic instead of, doing all the GMO crap, because, just like corn out here. It's like, if you start producing a better product that's healthier, that's going to have a ripple effect too. See, we've gotten so far away from things that are real, that matter. And, we got a garbage food supply. I mean, so if you were to like scale that down and produce more nutritious vegetables, more nutritious things, you can charge more money for it. So, it's a bigger bang for the buck. You don't need as much labor. And, again, you don't have to eat as much if you're getting more nutritious food. So, I mean, it's just a big whole scope of things that needs to change in mentality. We've just let it run off the rails for so long. More is better, but it's garbage. More garbage is better. Bigger pile of poop is better, and it's just like, no, let's scale it back a little bit and let's start producing things that are healthier and better sustainability. You don't need as much workforce. I mean, I don't know. It's a whole philosophical shift, but it's not going to change until the pain comes.
Change things. So Jim is saying illegals are paid the same in his business, as the same, but they don't pay taxes. Well, that also means the employer doesn't pay taxes on those, like his half of meeting employees' tax. So that's the other motivation.
That's a big saver.
So, and I'm not saying, trust me, I'm not a fan of like pay your taxes, but it's another way of like not being motivated or incentivized to hire an American over people.
Right, exactly. It's just like, hey, you're not incentivized if you're living in the hood or living in the trailer park. You're not incentivized to have your the daddy being married to him. You're incentivized to be divorced, or I shouldn't say that, not get married. And I mean, don't
even put your baby daddy's name.
He doesn't exist. Let's just leave him out of the picture because now you win. I mean, I know somebody that unmarried, has a few kids that made $20,000, was getting $12,000 back in taxes, earned income. And so it's this incentivization to live a certain lifestyle. And so, of course, they're going to do that. I mean, you're incentivized to, but me, married, a couple of kids, it's gone.
They're going to fleece you.
Gone. I ain't getting, give me a break.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Breaking news. Kristi Noem terminates 400 employees from the Department of Homeland Security.
Well,
that I might start flying again if I didn't feel like I was going to get assaulted every time I
went. Oh my goodness. We didn't have that before, before the whole 9/11 thing. We didn't have this nonsense. And are we safer now? Planes are dropping out of the skies now. I mean, and it's just, it's that excuse that we had. I mean, all these incidents of people with box cutters, bringing down planes. I mean, give me a break. So we need this big government agency that's going to prevent all this.
To stop you from bringing 3 ounces of water.
Oh yeah, trust me. Taking lighters from Westwood that have no butane in it.
Yep, because it's metal, and that's what they're really out there.
It's your metal.
When they pulled me over from coming from, pulled me out of the line, and she was like, "Oh no, I think you have some jewelry in here." And, I was
and if I do,
I was like, "I don't know." I said, "I have some like cheap, like little." Bangle bracelets, costume bracelets or whatever. She's like, "Oh no, you have coins." And she went in and it was a Litecoin round, silver.
Oh.
And my grandmother's
double whammy.
Yeah, and then I have a silver compact that was my grandmother's that my mom gave me that has mother of pearl on the front. And I have that in my bag with me all the time with that silver coin. And they saw the silver content.
Sure.
And because it was around, I guess, or my grandmother's obviously antique, like it wasn't a new purchased piece of silver to say, "Oh, you just bought this and show me your receipt." They didn't take it from me. But
how dare you have sound money?
Yeah.
How dare you walk through the vampire casino gates with sound
That's
money?
why the whole reason for
Why can't you fly with metal?
because they've been since 9/11 went down. What was in the basement was precious metals.
Gold.
Giuliani was part of getting that to China as quickly as possible. That's why they didn't check for dead bodies and whatever. They
Oh, Giuliani, Mr. Purdue pharmaceutical, defender. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so he was part of
Opium boy.
precious metals out from under 9/11
What
to
does
China.
that have to do with you traveling?
I'm not there yet. So then they started the Patriot Act to protect us, which just took away our privacy and put DHS, Brennan, DHS over all the airports, and they started scanning everybody. And they told you they were looking for 3 ounces of water and sharp things, but they were really looking for. And if you ever watch their series that have like airport 24 hours in this whatever busy airport, they're just pulling gold and silver off of Indian people and.
So they're stealing precious metals, basically.
They want no free. They want no, because precious metals are outside the Fed monetary system. We could exchange peer to peer with precious metals.
Real assets.
So
Real money.
They started the burning the paper money. They were also pulling coins out.
I mean, it seems like it would be such a small amount.
It adds up.
Doing it for how many years? When was 9/11? They're thinking Chinese generational.
Yeah.
This is the CCP stealing, and not to point fingers. I don't know. I think it's the cabal. I don't think it's a country. I don't think it's the people of India.
No, I don't think they have loyalty to borders. I think they have loyalty to, philosophies. Let's put it that way. Bloodlines, philosophies, that kind of thing.
Whatever it takes, and they'll go sit in whatever country and hijack them, just like the Khazarian mafia hijacked.
Just take you down.
Jews.
Take this country down.
Whatever works for them that they can hide, and then they'll go steal people's. Look here. Warrior says, I got stopped at the airport for having 40 rounds of silver going to Westwoods.
Somebody else did leaving here. Oh, he can talk about who it is. It's somebody different. I mean, so there's 2.
Yep.
If you're not on a list, you're not doing enough.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, no coincidences.
But that's what they don't want. They want everyone in the digital system.
Yes.
Their business,
Of course, you're absolutely right, but it doesn't matter. Evil still.
Yeah.
They're criminals. They're going to do what's
right.
not. Yeah, they were looking for the metal, not water, not
cocaine.
Cocaine, not
Now, heck with that.
3 ounces of toothpaste. Yeah, clearly not.
Not bags full of weed.
We know they're not. I hope I'm on better lists. So I know I'm on a list.
Oh man! That's crazy. Hey, you sovereign people out there with your sovereign money outside the system, we're watching you. Oh, you.
But they're the enlightened ones that are good for humanity and care.
Looking out for you. I got your back. I got your back right here.
I got your back right here. Yeah, exactly. Oh Lord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then these scanning machines, if you ever look into that, I mean, what is it really scanning for? I've heard a lot of different theories on that, of what they're really looking for. Is it like a DNA scan where they're trying to look for certain frequencies, certain DNA structures? There's a lot going on there. Do some research on that, if you want to go down a rabbit hole.
If you go to the DARPA website, you used to be able to. I don't know if this has been years ago, because every time I fly, I would get sick. And then one time this guy, he was like, they already know I'm on the list, whatever. And they're like, no, you have to go in that thing. And I said, no, I have this, I can't remember what it's called, trusted traveler thing. I'm supposed to be able to go on the fast line. Yeah. He's like, nope, I don't care. You're going in the big scanner. And I was like, no, I can go in the other one. Nope, you're going in there. And then I'm standing there and they will not let me come out of the big scanner. And it's like a pod thing.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, nope, stand there a little bit longer.
I feel like I'm gonna dematerialize, and end up in
people. And it used to be on like some DARPA sites. talk about what those machines actually do.
Yeah.
And what they might be spraying or exposing you to and how that affects you. Because like almost immediately I got out of there and I could feel that tickle in my throat.
Oh yeah, you're radiated.
Yeah. Whatever that.
Jeez. Can I put the lead vest on, please? That's what.
Yeah.
This is okay. Somebody invent this, like lead-lined clothing, because you got silver impregnated fabrics, for like antibacterial stuff.
Idea.
We need to have like lead impregnated, clothing, then we walk through stuff.
And you could get a workout while you're walking.
Absolutely. You're like the Tin Man.
Really heavy. Yeah. It's part of my exercise. It's RFK Junior approved. It's part of my exercise.
Yeah, exactly. It's Maha approved. Right.
Yeah. Maha. Yeah, Mom and I decided we're gonna make MAGA. We're gonna make Arkansas great again.
There you go.
So
there you go. That works.
We're gonna MAGA Arkansas. Yeah.
You should.
I think it's good.
Yeah, not that it's not great anyway. I mean, there's pockets, I guess, just like any other state. But
oh yes, Rand. I saw that article. Korean banks have stopped all silver purchases.
Really?
Yep.
Wonder why?
Deliver.
Is it because they stopped purchasing it because they got the word? It's like, that's enough. We got to put a freeze on this. We're not moving any more silver. Let's just sit tight and hopefully it blows over.
No, that may be why the price went up today.
Oh, that was fine.
Because, once they can't deliver, it's all over. I mean,
everyone go
I
buy
hope the
as
cards
much physical
just
silver
keep
as you can.
yeah.
Well, I mean, seriously. I mean, it's still constitutional money. It's been money for thousands of years. I mean, it's just, the same with gold. It's a tier 1 asset. All the banks, that hold it, So, I mean, these things have real value. And so to think and discount it and say, it doesn't, I mean, it does. And it means something. And, it's a way to opt out of the system, just like we're talking about. It's sovereign money. It has no debt attached to it. It will exist even when the government fails, and you'll be able to use it wherever you want to use it. So it's probably something they don't like you having. That's why they took it out of our money.
Oh, I did the wrong one. Hold on. So I was going to show everybody Reggie's. He's got another patent approved, and he's talking about the rounds and how the silver rounds might be used. They have an embedded NFT, which has gives you a private key, all this. It's really interesting to watch. And I was sharing with some of my friends who are like in the banking industry, and I was like, oh, would this work with the ITMs? Because Bix always talked about that, how they retooled all the Silver Eagles with that flat spot.
Yeah.
Well, Reggie did it a different way with rounds, not with government coins, but that's kind of like maybe the test round, or it could be theoretically, this is my crazy ideas, a test round for doing the same thing with the Silver Eagles or something, but it has
This is Reggie Middleton, and I am showing.
Am I showing you this?
Giving an illustration of the technology that I'm looking to embed in the commemorative silver rounds that are being sold. The Veritasium Smart Metal 1 ounce silver rounds. They're smart, much smarter than any silver I've seen. What they are precious metal rounds, 1 ounce silver with a QR code, outverse and reverse, back and front. And that will lead you to a smart contract that will give you a private key to claim ownership of the round. That private key will be on the Ethereum network, running off of base, so layer 2 for speed and efficiency. And we are looking to embed that NFT with hyperintelligence. It will be an embodiment of some of the many things that we can do with our patented technology. Veritasium now has 7 patents and counting. And we believe that these patents are very strong. This is an example of what we're going to do with one of them. Okay, just having the silver rounds represented on the blockchain is a big deal to many, but that is not even scratching the surface. Here I'm holding a Samsung S25 Ultra with the newest high-speed chipset from Qualcomm, et cetera, et cetera. I have downloaded an 8 billion parameter artificial intelligence large language model. And I've downloaded it and customized it to run on this phone. It is running on the phone. So all your information, all your data is completely private because it's on the phone. Okay, when you do a prompt, you don't have to go and ask OpenAI servers or Anthropic servers or Google Gemini servers or anybody else, not DeepSeek. Everything's running off the phone's hardware. And it's pretty amazing. So let's give it a try. What
I'll let him ask the
is
question, then I have to fast forward
capable
because it.
when you run 8 billion parameter LM
Okay, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because
bottom left hand.
it took him a little while to like
As it's thinking through,
get the
trying to make
sense
sure
of
the
his.
mismatch. that
Because he won't put glasses on.
This model,
Just try to
this
see
LLM AI model, does
the letter.
inference time.
So a bunch of
it
misspelling.
thinks. So it just doesn't go to a large database.
So
I asked
thinking
if
inside.
I can take the model, Google, let me scroll up all this thing, many typos, which is significant because there are a lot of them in there. I would
And
recommend
typos.
most people wouldn't be using a command line prompt like I am. They'd be going through an interface that we build to make things nice and neat and pretty. But in the meantime,
Yeah, so they would
type
make
out
this more like
copy and
user-friendly.
paste to this command line. But AI assists with legal transactions, drafting legal documents, etc. Use of legal AI tools. It slightly missed the mark, but it's still quite impressive. First, I had to decipher my Ghibli Gop, which was supposed to be an English sentence, and then it's going through using the AI to use the patent claims, but it's looking to decipher it from a legal perspective.
So then they're
So
applying
will
all the
have,
patent claims to
many
that.
prompts that will go into the AI, but it will direct the AI to do certain transactions: buy, sell, swap, negotiate, mediate, partial fill, transfer or bridge from one chain to another, etc. Maybe a couple of hundred, few hundred, maybe even 1,000 transactions. And then we'd have an open prompt where it can reason and think things out through itself if it runs into a snag, which would be very cool.
Look, even
But
generating
for
intellectual property notices,
what's capable
using the
as
AI,
well,
legal AI
patents,
tools, consulting legal
the
experts
users
for all
can negotiate
transactions. So every transaction would be protected.
before it's completed. That's why you don't have to trust the other side, because
So you don't have to trust
you're
the other
never
side.
thrust into a deal that you're not prepared for, at least in terms of the actual terms and the data used.
Anyway, I think this is huge, huge, huge. Somebody did say that they saw a spike in veritasium on some obscure decks, but that's not what it's about. Like, it's about using the IP belongs to Reggie. He created that. He has those patents, but having a license or a discount on a possible license that you could negotiate with him to use his IP is what this is all about. So I don't know. I think it's really exciting.
Changing the world, man.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Crazy stuff.
Lots of our friends in the chat are talking about how important, oh, here's a great question. So with Trump pulling back or halting pennies being made at the mint, is now a time to cash in pennies?
When they want to take something away, that's when I want it. That's kind of how I am. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, because here's the way I look at it. Well, the whole reason I got into gold and silver is because, the whole weights and measures thing, it is what it is. I mean, it always is what it is. And it's always been money for the certain properties and principles that it has. It has a use, especially silver. You know, with pennies, yeah, most of them, again, if you get change, most of them are probably going to be, I'm going to say 75% of them, 80% of them are going to be the newer style pennies, which, because they cut over in 82. I mean, so you know, during 1982, some of them are the old copper pennies that are worth like 2.75 cents, and some of the newer ones that are like 0.075, so three quarters of a penny. And so you can sort through it. But if you just say, hey, everything before 1982, I mean, that's copper. I mean, that's a real metal that has a real use. I mean, you know, your whole house is full of copper. You know, I mean, it's, you know, and then, you know, the newer ones, it's zinc. It's still a metal that's got to come out of the ground. And at some point, I mean, if you just continue to print money, you know, that zinc is going to be worth the face value. I mean, just the zinc content alone is going to be worth more than the face value of the penny. So, I mean, it's just like you go back to 1964 when we had silver in it. I mean, you know, if you had silver in the coinage, you know, at the time, you know, a dime was a dime. It was 10 cents. But now it's like $2.30 or something because of the silver content. So the same thing would happen with any metal, I would think, even though it's zinc, you know, it's a cheaper metal, still needs zinc. So I'd hang on to them. I mean, it's better than hanging on. I'd rather have 100 pennies than a $1 bill. Let's put it that way.
That's a great Westwood quote.
I mean, really, I would.
Yeah.
You know, it takes, you got to store it, but at some point it's like, oh, well, you got to store all these quarters and dimes. You're going to have jars full of it, you know, in 64. Well, you probably wish you'd had them now because it's worth 23 times face value just because of the metal content. And people are like, well, you can't melt it down. What are you going to do? Melt it? You don't need to. I mean, you don't melt down 64 and before a silver coin, you know, it has a value that, you know, people want the silver. You know, and the copper pennies, and see, again, you know, let me harp on the nickels. You know, a nickel right now is worth like almost 4 cents, 5.4. And a nickel, the face value is 5 cents. So the copper, the 75% copper and 25% nickel, in that nickel, the metal content's worth more than the face value. So they've talked about it for a lot of years, you know, getting rid of the Obama administration. They talked about stopping the nickels just because at one point it was like 11 cents per nickel, the face, you know, the metal content, because the metals were up.
Wow.
And it's like, holy crap, you know, you're gonna have a run on nickels. So even like right now, going to the bank, $100 bill, you get $100 worth of nickels, a big heavy box, it's worth $108 in metal. You made $8, you know. And the thing is, they're like, well, why would you do? You can always cash it in at face value. So if we go into a full deflationary down spiral, it's still worth a nickel. It held your value. Or if we go hyperinflationary to where, you know, the metals, you know, go sky high, well, you've hedged against that too.
Right.
And that's, I don't know, it's just something you can do, you know.
And silver turtles and nickels.
Silver turtles sitting on a stack of nickels. Let's make a country song.
I love it. Maybe bacon for us. Yeah. That'll be good. All right. I'm gonna go check on my dogs and see if the bacon is burning. Something's happening in the kitchen, but I don't know if somebody's paying attention. So I feel like I should check for fire. But I love your quote tonight that you would rather have 100 pennies in your possession
Than a dollar bill.
$1. 100 pennies than $1.
Which do you want? Do you want 100 pennies or do you want a $1 bill?
Yeah.
Which one's gonna win?
If you were going to give your Valentine one, which one would you give?
There you go.
100 pennies.
It depends. If your Valentine happens to be at a nightclub, I mean, like, it's raining pennies.
Comfortable. Yes.
It might be more fun to watch them pick it up, you know, pick them up rather than the dollar bill. I don't know. Ooh.
Oh, I never even realized that's why they did that. Okay. Naive.
Lisa's like, oh my gosh, flashbacks. No, what the heck? Not in that way. But
A horrible thought.
like, oh, I spilled my shit. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thought about that. Yeah.
Oops.
I'm so not a boy.
You too.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys on Spaces later tonight. I hope you'll join us. Go to clintwestwood.net and check out all his links. Great information, great resources, information about our upcoming meetup in June.
Oh, yeah, I got to put that out there. I haven't put that out there yet, but yeah, June, it'll be like the weekend after Father's Day. The next weekend, we'll have a meetup here.
And you can also find his Twitter handle there. You'll also be able to find that in the description of this video below. Please give us a like, share the video, get some information out there to your friends, shake the normies, send them a Valentine with love, because somebody loves you.
Loves you.
I
All
love
right.
it.
Take care. Love you all.